Dolphins fans, welcome into this edition of the Dolphins Today Mailbag, and it is sponsored by our good friend Ivan. We really appreciate everyone who has super chatted and supported the channel. Daddy Dean, shout out to you as well, saying, fins up, let's go. I think all of us are really fired up for Sunday Night Football, just the fourth Sunday Night Football appearance for the Dolphins since 2006. Andy got Tua Tagovailoa coming back. Also, Brian Flores coming back to Miami. A lot to look forward to. So we're going to answer some of your questions here on Dolphins Today, this edition of the Mailbag. First question coming in from Poke Greenwich 39, one of our most loyal subscribers. We appreciate you. Yo, trade idea, Geisicki, Wilson, and a second for, I'm guessing you mean Taylor Munson, Christian McCaffrey, and a seventh-round pick. I would love a world where we... Oh! We got to start again. Ivan with the $100 super chat. You're ridiculous, Ivan. We'll get to that in a second after this mailbag, but... Poke Greenwich, I'd love a world where Taylor Munson and Christian McCaffrey can be in the same package. I don't know how you get that done without giving up a first-round pick or two. So I think that's going to be tough. I think Munson is a little bit more realistic in terms of a trade target for the Dolphins. Crazy Blade, next question. Will Kohou step up as a second cornerback even when Byron Jones comes back? So that's a great question. Right now, Nick Needham, obviously out for the year, so Kader Kohou going to kind of slide in and be the second quarterback behind X on this team. I don't really see a world that if Jones comes back, Kohou's going to be the second corner. I think they'll go back to Jones, but I don't know if Jones is going to come back this year, man. He seems to have all these setbacks. The Elite, trade Geisicki to the Commies for a second following year, fourth, and Montez Sweat. I've really thought about Montez as a trade candidate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I don't think the Commanders would be interested in a guy like Mike Geisicki at the deadline. I think they're going to be sellers at the deadline, but maybe Montez is a guy they look to move from. Zolan, we appreciate the question. I'd say keep, but if they do trade him, I think trade Mike to the Bears for Tevin Jenkins. Yeah, this has been a trade that we have talked about quite a bit in terms of maybe a Geisicki for Tevin Jenkins swap. I think it is one the Bears will be interested in. However, I've been told by the host of Chicago Bears now, Harrison Graham, that Tevin Jenkins has gone from being a pretty strong trade candidate to a guy that's not going to get moved because he's played well. He's probably the best offensive lineman the Bears have right now, and they're trying to protect their young quarterback. Trading Jenkins would not be the way to do that. Cale Donaldson, likelihood that Miami trades for an offensive lineman. I want to believe it's decent, but with how stubborn Chris Grier has been his entire tenure about addressing the offensive line, I would say unlikely. Now, a reason for that is Austin Jackson is coming back, hopefully soon. I don't think he's going to play this Sunday, but maybe next Sunday. They have Brandon Shell. Brandon Shell, I think, is a decent option as a backup swing tackle. But you got to trade for an offensive lineman. You cannot keep throwing Liam Eichenberg out there. You got to trade for a guard, maybe trade for a tackle, move Austin Jackson to guard. You got to mix up this offensive line. For 3 straight weeks, your quarterbacks have gotten hurt. Guys, do you think Miami's going to trade for an offensive lineman? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comment section. Go down, let me know what you think. It is the pinned comment on today's video. Reply to it when an ad break comes. Crazy Blade, we appreciate you always in the comment section. Will Igbinoghene be a potential slot or legit corner because Kohou is numb 1-2 with Byron out? I got to give Noah Igbinoghene a lot of credit, man. One of the best games, if not the best game I've seen in his career last week. He went up against Adam Thielen, which is not a fun matchup, and he won that matchup. He played great against Thielen, probably played better than X did against Justin Jefferson, if we're being honest. His PFF grade was pretty solid as well, so I really wanted to see that potential from Igbo. We saw that. Hopefully he steps up this week as well, but I don't see him being over Kohou right now. Jacob Robertson, why hasn't the media been making a big deal about the Kenny Pickett concussion and then coming back to full practice the next day, but Bridgewater couldn't practice until Thursday? So I appreciate you asking this question because I brought this up yesterday. I'm like, can somebody explain to me? Can the NFL explain to me? And I looked a little bit more into it. So the difference between Pickett and Bridgewater, and let me get y'all up to speed here if you don't know. So Teddy Bridgewater entered concussion protocol. He was not allowed to practice last week until Thursday, and then he wasn't allowed to be a full practice participant until Friday. Kenny Pickett was in protocol. He was allowed to be a full participant on Wednesday, as opposed to Bridgewater last week on Friday. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The difference was the spotter at the stadium said that Teddy stumbled. He exhibited a form of ataxia. That's why he was held out of practice until Friday. Kenny Pickett was not, signaled by the spotter. That's why Pickett was allowed to be a full practice participant yesterday. Guys, go down, subscribe for news, rumors, watch parties, and more. We're going to be live for the Sunday Night Football game, going live 30 minutes before kick, 7:45 Eastern Time. You don't want to miss it. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Shout out to Allie from Maui. He'll be wearing a Hawaiian tea leaf lei. Be sure to subscribe, turn on your notice so you know when we go live. Winland Witt, watching for the Philippines. We appreciate you. Could Miami Dolphins trade for Isaiah Wynn from the Patriots by trading a 4th-round pick? That is a great question, Winland. I think it would be more. I think it would take a little bit more than a 4th to get him, maybe a 3rd, but I do not think the Pats would trade Wynn in the division. I understand the Patriots and the Fins have a little bit of a trade history, including Devontae Parker, but an in-season, in-division trade I don't think is likely, but stay tuned for our segment coming up here in a little bit on Dolphins Live. We're going to talk a little bit more about Isaiah Wynn. Joseph Boros, we appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. Will the Dolphins get some line help, or are we going to keep sacrificing our QBs? That's what I'm saying, man. It's like when you look at the Dolphins quarterback situation, the fact they've had to start 3 different QBs the last 3 weeks, all 3 of those weeks the starter's gone down, that shows you how bad the offensive line is. What is it going to take for Chris Grier to finally address the offensive line? I get it. You signed Teron Armstead. You signed Connor Williams. Connor's not even playing his natural position right now. Take the offensive line seriously. And Teron's been banged up. You can't be in a situation where if Armstead can't go, you're screwed, which is basically the boat the Dolphins are in right now. Next question. Blame it on the refs. Predict Tua's stat line on Sunday. I think Tua's going to have a big day, man. I mean, I don't see a world where he doesn't have a big day against Brian Flores. As we all know, those two did not get along. Flores never supported Tua, never liked Tua. I think Tua's going to go the heck off, man. I'm going to say 22 of 26, 363 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Again, Tua's going to go 22 of 26, 363 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That is my Tua stat line prediction on Sunday Night Football. Guys, how many touchdowns will Tua throw on Sunday? His career high 6, maybe 7 touchdowns on Sunday. We'll see. I'm excited. Again, be sure to turn on notice. Join us for a watch party. Shout out to Ivan, man. $100 super chat. Ivan, we're doing the Tua song in the cut. All right, so I got the lays on for my guy Ivan here. We're going to debut the we've debuted the Tua song here as we're recording this on Dolphins Live, but I'm going to do it on the cut now. Ready for this, Chugs? There's no place I'd rather be than watching my Fins in Miami here on Dolphins Day with my crew. And if I had one wish come true, the Dolphins would get the win again. I wiki wiki my lohi lohi. I wiki wiki my lohi lohi. I want to see a Tua touchdown drive. Shout out to Ivan, man. We appreciate you. 508, call 508. Do you think Greg Little likes to see QBs in the 508, call 508. I know I liked you, man. Greg Little sucks. You got to get him off this offensive line. He had a 1.5 pass block grade last week, which was quite frankly too high. Brian Gonzalez, do you want to keep Josh Boyer next year? The jury's still out on Josh Boyer, man. The defense needs to be a little more consistent. Thought the defense played pretty well last week, specifically the secondary, at least from, the fourth quarter. The secondary didn't really play great. But, yeah, I mean, Josh Boyer's a decent defensive coordinator, but I need to see more consistency from the defense before, I kind of give my thoughts on Boyer. But if the defense does not get a little bit better at being consistent, he might be on the hot seat. Guys, you can go bet on the Fins on Sunday, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125 to pick up a 125% deposit bonus. That deposit bonus means if you put $100 in, you're going to start with $225 in your account. It's a great deal. Go and take advantage. Fins a 7.5-point favorite. Go and bet on the Fins. They're going to the total's at 45. They're going to win like 50-7. So the over's going to hit. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125. I'm feeling pretty good about Sunday. I really am. The Elites, I'm going to the game. And I will say, subscribe to Dolphins Today right now. We appreciate you, the Elite. We appreciate you. Oh, I'll have a sign that says subscribe. The Elite, that is awesome, dude. The Elite's going to be at the game. He's going to have a sign that says subscribe to Dolphins Today. You'll love to see it. Shout out the Elite. The Elite, can we put my Instagram up on screen here, Chugs? At Willie Fins. The Elite, DM me on Instagram, the picture, and we'll put you on air on our watch party on Sunday. Follow me on Instagram at Willie Fins. That's a great way to get in touch with me. Wendell and Witt, could the Dolphins trade for Isaiah Wynn? Again, I don't really think an in-division trade is likely, especially middle of the season. The Patriots are trying to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to trade their starting right tackle. I would say an in-division trade is rather unlikely here when you're talking about trading for Isaiah Wynn. Maybe Taylor Munson is the right tackle to monitor here in terms of the trade rumors that we have been seeing. Reese, what do the Dolphins need to do so the O-line will be good? Reese, I'll tell you what you got to do. You got to move Connor Williams to left guard, get Eichenberg off this offensive line, trade for Taylor Munson, and you have fixed this offensive line. You really have. And we'll talk about some, and if you're watching this Mailbag after Dolphins Live, go and check out our top 5 offensive lineman video to trade for. But I would also like to trade for Matt Hennessy. I really would. He is the backup center right now in Atlanta, despite being a top 10 center last year in the league. It's crazy they benched him. We got Sixth Field Artillery. We appreciate you. Dolphins, do you think Gaskin and Ezukanma will get some snaps? Man, we haven't seen Eazy-E. We've seen a little bit of Myles Gaskin. Hopefully they get involved on Sunday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. I think it's more likely that Gaskin gets some snaps than Eazy-E. Crazy Blade, will Eazy-E and Tyndall take a role as a starter in their positions this season? Probably not. I mean, Tyndall's a long-term guy that I think will have a role, though. Eazy-E, man, we haven't seen him. He's been inactive. He's been listed on the injury report with an eye injury. Hopefully he's okay and is able to go, but he has yet to be active for a game this season, and I was really excited about him. I didn't see a whole lot of him in the preseason either. The Elites trade their first-round pick from San Francisco for Isaiah Simmons. Man, I don't think that Simmons is going to get traded. He is an elite player. A first-round pick, if the Titans were, out of the playoff race, which they're not, they're tied for first right now in the South, and maybe they would trade him, but it would take a lot for me to give up that first-round pick because that's our only first-round pick right now after Stephen Ross's tampering cost us our own first-round pick. So I don't really want to trade our own first. Wendell and Witt, is there any center out there for the Dolphins to trade for? Happy you asked that question. Matt Hennessy in Atlanta. Matt Hennessy has been replaced by Drew Dahlman as the starting center in Atlanta, even though Hennessy rated as the 9th best center in football last season. He's a heck of a player, be a huge upgrade over Connor Williams right now. Guys, go follow me on Twitter at WillScott44. Appreciate you all following me on Twitter. Also, follow me on IG at Willie Fins. If you want to get in touch with me, that is a great way to do it. If you didn't get a question on the mailbag and have a question for me, go DM me on Twitter or on IG, WillScott44 on Twitter, at Willie Fins on Instagram.